Hey everyone, it's James Vagley here, and welcome to another episode of the MBA podcast. It's episode 183. It's chugging along mid to late April, and I'm sitting here in black. For those of you, of course, that are only listening, you'll have to visualize me sitting here in black, and you'll also have to visualize Ash sitting there in black. So, how are you, Ash, today?
I'm great, James. And look, if anybody happened to come to my house and look in my wardrobe, like in one of those movies where, the murderer goes to their wardrobe and all they've got is 15 coat hangers with black t-shirts hanging on them. That's all they wear.
Is that like yours?
That, yeah, yeah. Well, no, if I tell you, I'll have to kill you. So, just leave it to your imagination. But I'm really good. Black is our default tire here in Melbourne, which is where we both are located. So, yeah,
Indeed,
black, black or
indeed.
black.
Black, black, or black? Which shade of black? Listeners, hopefully you're doing good. And today we're talking about, we're continuing our trusted advisor theme for the month. And we're talking about this concept today of friend zone versus the pro zone. And if you've been listening this month, you'll get a sense already that we don't want to be in the friend zone with our clients. We want to step up into the pro zone. And, today we'll probably talk about a little bit, well, what is it? What does it mean to be in the friend zone or the pro zone? Why brokers end up there? What stops them from stepping into the pro zone? Sometimes they'll slip back and revert. But the one thing you need to be aware of is that we don't want to be in the friend zone. But that's kind of how this industry, Ash, is. Well, I mean, you've been in it for a long time, the late 80s. I've been here for a while too. That's how the industry started, really. Like, it started as mostly the friend zone. Let's help people beat the banks, and let's go around and almost knock on doors and go into people's living rooms like at night after work and help them get a better deal. Like, back in those days, everybody was on a bad deal. Let's put it like bluntly. Like, it was easy to go and get people a sharper rate. And that's how the industry started. Go around, pat the dog, be friendly with people after work and help them get back at the banks, type of thing. And there's still a bit of hangover. The industry has come a long way in Australia in the last 20 years plus, professionalizing and moving towards that trusted advisor base. It's great to see, but there's still the hangover in a lot of brokers' processes, how they approach things. And there is still a lot of that stigma attached, I think, in terms of what a broker does is to be really friendly, have great customer service, and help people get a better deal. That's kind of still the default, I think, for a lot of the industry. And I have to actually pinch myself because our members, Ash, as you know, are super switched on. They're in the minority. They're in the 1% of the industry. So in our world, brokers aren't doing this. But when I think, no, that's actually still the default, I think, in the wider industry, is to go around, be people's friends, have great customer service, pat the dog, have coffees with them at cafes, and help them get a better deal. And that can work okay, but it's actually not doing anybody any favors. Is it, Ash? Where do you want to start for today? Because
Well,
we love
look,
this topic here.
let's disassemble it a little bit, right? I really love this one, right? Right in the sweet spot for me because it's talking about mindset and you know you getting mentally fit for mortgage broking, essentially. So let's have a talk about or think about where the friend zone comes from. And I've got a couple of things I want to talk about here. First of all is we all grow up with a mindset of being nice. With rare exception, we get taught that good manners, politeness, humility, treat others as you would like to be treated, all great values and continue to be great values. So we get brought up, get brought into the world, and we learn and we get taught to display those values, which is a wonderful thing. Nothing wrong with that. So then we bring it forward to, the competitive world of running a business and winning clients. And, we hear a lot of advice, whether it's from us or, other sources that says, oh no, you need to be this and you need to be that and you need to, take this position of being more instructive with your clients, which is all true. But what happens, of course, with most people, James, is if you spent your whole life training your brain to be nice to people, well, what do you do under pressure, right? You default to what you know. Of course you do. That's number one. Number two, well, where does that default, what does it rest on? I think it rests still for most people on the fear of rejection. Deep seated for most people is, if I'm not nice to these people, or this girl, this boy, this person, they will reject me. The fear of rejection is an overwhelming fear for most people, deep down inside. It's the tango of life. When you advance, they retreat. When you retreat, they advance. We learn that, right? But actually shifting your mindset to adopting being the hunted instead of the hunter is a difficult one to do, or it would seemingly be difficult, right? So there's a little bit of background. So then I want to say, right, most people, even with that knowledge, still make the same mistake, which is the expectation is that my mindset will shift later on when I've achieved a certain level of success by doing X, Y, Z. And that's the wrong thinking to bring to the table. The thinking that you need to bring to the table is, I need to shift my mindset first, then my actions will follow, rather than practice the actions and wait for my mindset to shift. You need to shift your mindset first. And that can be done very quickly. Shifting away from, well, I don't care whether you like me or not. All I care about is that you see me as the best mortgage advisor on the planet. That's all I care about. If you like me, bonus, but I don't actually care, right? So that's the mindset that you need to bring to the table, right? That it takes a lot of practice, right? You don't just change, I don't know, if you're 35, you don't change 35 years of conditioning and developing of pathways in your brain that say, under pressure, be nice, be nice, be nice, be nice, be nice, right? You don't change that overnight, but it'll never change if you wait for it to happen. It'll change when you consciously shift your mindset away from the friend zone and into the pro zone, and then practice it over and over and over again.
It's a big, yeah, this has opened up a can of worms and I love it. Listeners, we've been talking the last few weeks about, stepping up as a trusted advisor and giving customers what they really want and owning, being confident, controlling the meetings, not just giving them what they want. But this episode is crucial because, as Ash has been talking about, I think installing this, okay, it's a strategy, it's a process, it's a framework, it's a script, but there's more to it than that, because if you don't show up with conviction in the right way and be yourself regardless of how the other person reacts, then, as Ash said at the start, you could revert back very quickly. So, for example, we could have taught you, and you've listened to this podcast and you've said, right, I'm going to show up to my client meetings differently. And I'm going to say, look, where do you really want to go? And what are your dreams and goals? And the customer could go, I don't give a toss about all that. Just give me the cheapest rate. Like, you're wasting my time. What's the best deal? And if you're not prepared to stand up for that client and what you do as a business, then you could very easily be like, oh, okay, let me just check. I'll, revert back to being nice when challenged. And you will be challenged by certain clients. What do you need to know about this for? I'm just here to get a loan. You will be challenged. And if you're not ready to show up the way you need to show up, and you default into being a people pleaser, being nice, customer service, customer's always right, then because of, fear of rejection, what everybody's told you has been growing up, then yeah, you will do yourself and that client a disservice and you'll get friend zoned. You might still win the business, this is where a lot of brokers go, oh, but I'm still winning the business and I'm patting the dog and I'm having coffees. Yeah, but how loyal are those clients? How many referrals are you getting from those clients? How many of those clients understand or respect your boundaries, or are they calling you on a Saturday morning? Like,
Correct.
this goes deep. This runs deep, Ash.
Oh, and this is a source material, if you like. This is one of those first principles that's indivisible any lower, right? This is when you start working through, well, where am I at? What needs to change to get me to where I want to go? When you ask yourself why? Well, this is one of the last whys, which is this must be a bedrock of your approach to clients, the way that you train your staff, the way you work with referrers, the vibe and feeling that you have in the marketplace must all speak to your authority, your trust, your expertise. You can use nice language, and this is one of the things I think that really people get a lot of cognitive dissonance. Right? Cognitive dissonance is essentially holding two opposing beliefs at the same time. Right? It's very hard. So what are the opposing beliefs here? Oh, I was brought up to be nice to people, but you're telling me not to be nice to win business. How do I hold those opposing beliefs at the same time?
Yeah, yeah,
Right? Well, you have to, right? So being this more instructive leader in the way you show up with clients does not mean you're not still a nice person, right? So this is the thinking, this is the mindset that you need to adopt. Is it's almost like when you go into that mode, pull on your suit, or Batman's cape, or whatever your superpower suit is. When you're speaking to clients, you are that best at what you do person. If you have a nice demeanor, great. If you're a
bonus.
bit more gruff, or you're an introvert like me who's just like, cut the small chat, let's get to the point, right?
Yeah, I
Which,
like that.
that's my style. That's your superpower is you bring to the table with every interaction is I'm the best at what I do. I believe in myself completely. I believe in the team I've got completely. And you'd be mad to choose anyone else. Why would you choose the second best?
Yeah,
That's the sort of mindset that you need to bring. You can overlay that with all of your good values. Yes.
yeah, I like that. It doesn't have to be a black and white. You don't, yeah, they're not mutually exclusive. Being nice and friendly and a professional. And I guess in thinking for this episode, I sort of wrote down some notes in that there's kind of two methods to building rapport and trust, which are the key things in any service business, right? We want rapport with our clients, yeah, so that they feel like they can trust us. So rapport and trust. And the easy option is, of course, to go via the friend route. You know, I'll I'll be available at a time that they want to be available. I'll come over. I'll pat the dog. Let's have a cup of coffee. I'll meet the kids. We'll talk about your day. That's the easy option. Now, the other way of building rapport and trust is the professional route. That's that trusted advisor, where you build rapport and trust by being direct, being confident, and controlling the situation. So both of these methods build rapport and trust. The second one isn't maybe as nice and friendly, but if we were to sort of put them up against each other in a battle, they're in the Colosseum and they're running around on chariots. It's like the nice person, the pat the dog, and the trusted advisor, the pro. We know which one's going to win that battle. Like if that customer was to choose between the nice person that came over to their house and pat the dog and was friendly versus the one that told them how it needed to be, I know what all our listeners are thinking. They're probably thinking, oh, wouldn't they pick the one that was their friend? No, they will pick the person they probably don't like that really steps up as the telling what they need to know, that tough love. Because deep down, if you haven't listened already, go back a few episodes. We've talked about what customers really want, in that we think they want the friend and they'll choose that over the professional. But when it comes down to it, if they're choosing between you and another broker or someone else knocks on their door, they will go with the option that is the professional trusted advisor option. I can guarantee you, even when you think otherwise.
Trust beats like every time. Trust always overwhelms niceness when it comes to this sort of important life matter. You know, I don't think the aim here is to have your clients say, "Oh, Ash is a great bloke." What you want to have them say is, "Ash, I trust Ash with my life."
Yeah.
That's what you want, right? I don't care whether they think I'm a great bloke or not. I mean, we're all human beings. Maybe we care a little bit, right? But what you want them to think is, I trust you or trust him or her with my life, right? Now, that's what you want. And that's what you've got to bring to the table. People will only trust you to the same extent that you trust and have conviction in yourself.
Yep.
And that's the
That's it.
mindset that you need to hold. What do they say? The world will always be a mirror of what you think about yourself. So this is the mindset shift you need to make, is you must take on that identity of being the most trusted, the best and most trusted mortgage broker on the planet.
Yeah.
That's because the mirror will then reflect that, or the world will reflect that back to you.
Mm-hmm. So true. So then, talking about avoiding the friend zone and getting into the pro zone, the how-to is we've covered it over the last few episodes, Ash, haven't we? We've, how to avoid the friend zone. Well, it's what we've talked about. Understand what people really want so you can run your meetings differently as a professional, in control, giving them what they really want and need, stepping up as that trusted advisor for the long term. That puts you into the pro zone by doing all that. And if you've done the work and you've got the scripts and the frameworks, you've got the mindset shift done, you've trained your team to do the same, you will show up this way. There are probably some finer details, Ash, in the process that we could add to, like professionals aren't as available. There's boundaries there. There's ways of manufacturing and deepening that professional status as well. So in terms of exactly how you show up and what you say in those meetings is important, right? It's that's
Critical.
still important to make sure you come across as a nice person as well as a professional.
Well, look, I think the bow I'd like to wrap on this episode, James, and I was speaking to a very successful brokerage about this, before, late last year, actually. It's got a couple of owners, been around a long time, and they're trying to build a team of brokers in their business. Now, both of these founders are fantastic brokers, and I hope this resonates with anyone listening to this who goes, you know what, I'm really good at it. I'm a great trusted advisor. I tell people what to do. They listen. It's great. So there'll be some of you listening to this going, yes, James and Ash, I get it. That's who I am. But what I want to add is, how do you then document and deliver that as a peak performance culture within your sales team? This is the gap for a lot of founders is, I'm fantastic at it. Why aren't my team fantastic at it? Right? Because, I just tell customers what to do and they do it. Whereas my brokers, they're fluffing around and they're this and they're that, and clients don't send them back documents, and they're working flat out and they're only doing a loan every 2 weeks. How could they be flat out doing a loan every 2 weeks? It's very frustrating for mortgage broking business owners, right? So this is one of the magic sources, to borrow your phrase, James, that connects the dots between what you are as a founder can be really good at, but you haven't developed the methodology to teach and pass that wisdom on in the right way to your sales team. So this is really, really important for those of you out there trying to build the business that works without you, trying to remove key person dependency, trying to take a step back from the coalface, and you're getting frustrated as to why your sales team have a low level of performance compared to the opportunities you're generating for them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that you brought that up because that's a pretty common occurrence in a lot of successful broking businesses where there's a rainmaker. And the funny thing is that rainmaker hasn't been canned and cloned. The business has gone about creating a back end system to support the rainmaker and then gone, okay, well, let's expand by hiring other brokers and then relying on their personality and separate skills as a broker, as opposed to this is how the star does it. This is how you are to run a meeting. Like
Yeah.
very few, I've seen almost none mortgage businesses that have successfully canned and cloned that superstar rainmaker. They'll hire 4 or 5 other brokers that write a tenth of the volume of the rainmaker, and then they wonder why. It's because they haven't actually systemized the magic of
That's
showing up
right,
like a
James.
professional. Yeah.
Oh, and there's
I
no
love it.
guarantee that they will necessarily rise to the level of the gun rainmaker. But what you want to do is bridge the gap as much as you can as part of that peak performance environment, right? So this is a real missing link. I can't emphasize that enough, is designing and implementing and communicating this to your team about what this looks like, what the framework looks like, what the behavior looks like, all of those things. Talk to them about the mindset. That's a really important part. If you're not sure how to talk about that, hire someone to come and talk about it. Find a way to bring your team along on this journey to be the peak performer that they're capable of being. And I would say, with very, very rare exception, there's some great people acting as loan writers and brokers who have this capacity within them, but they don't know how to let it out. So your job as a leader is to help them let out that potential. And this is a big piece of the puzzle on how to do it.
Oh yeah. I love where this episode's gone. It's gone mindset, gone strategy, leadership. There's elements of everything in here, and that's kind of what's required to do this successfully. So this is cool. Listeners, we're going to leave it there. If you haven't already, again, listen to the last few episodes all around this trusted advisor space. And next week, we're going to do a bit of more of a detailed case study example, which will give you some more of the detail nitty gritty within this. So we talked strategy the last few episodes. We'll do a bit of a working example to sort of give you some ideas and scripting and what to say to really help next week. And of course, if you're wanting to go faster, just reach out and give our team a buzz. Let's have a chat and come and get access to just all the scripts and frameworks to just not have to figure it out and just get it done. That's the next step. So yeah, looking forward to next week, Ash, where we're going to do a bit of a case study and wrap up this Trusted Advisor month. Otherwise, yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you for that. And listeners, same deal. Like, have a great week and looking forward to seeing you for the next episode.
Yeah, love this one, James. And listeners, take out of this what you need wherever you are in the journey. And I'll see you next week, James.
Done deal. Bye for now.